Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय बुद्धे श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशाद्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. First, I would like to ask Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, first of all, I would like to ask all of your blessings and prayers so that I can speak something substantial. It's one of the greatest pleasure is to talk about Krishna in front of his devotees. And that to the guidance and blessings of my Guru and Sri Prabhupada and all your blessings, and I would like to continue. Please bless me. So today we are going to read from Bhagavad-Gītā, chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Especially the verse 18.13. 18.13. So we first read Sanskrit words along then later. Pañca, please repeat. Pañca, etāni, mahā-bāho, kāraṇāni, nibodha, me, sāṅkhye, kṛta-ante, proktāni, siddhaye, sarva-karmaṇām, pañcaitāni mahā-bāho, kāraṇāni nibodha me, sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni, siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām, pañcaitāni mahā-bāho, kāraṇāni nibodha me, sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni, siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām, pañcaitāni mahā-bāho, kāraṇāni nibodha me, sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni, siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām.
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho, kāraṇāni nibodha me, sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni, siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām.
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
kāraṇāni nibodha me
kāraṇāni nibodha me
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
kāraṇāni nibodha me
kāraṇāni nibodha me
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
kāraṇāni nibodha me
kāraṇāni nibodha me
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
kāraṇāni nibodha me
kāraṇāni nibodha me
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
pañcaitāni mahā-bāho
kāraṇāni nibodha me
kāraṇāni nibodha me
sāṅkhye kṛta-ante proktāni
siddhaye sarva-karmaṇām
I will bring the word by word meaning. Pañca 5. Etāni, these. Mahā-bāho, O mighty of one. Kāraṇāni, causes. Nibodha, just understand. From me. Śaṅkye, in the Vedānta, kṛta-ante, in the conclusion. Proktāni, said. Siddhaye, for the perfection. Sarva, of all. Karmaṇām, activities. Translation. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all actions. Now learn of these from me. The purport. Purport is the important part of the whole lecture when it's the words of Srila Prabhupada, and you could get things that it could last for a lifetime. So kindly please give attention to the purport. The question may be raised that since any activity is performed must have some reaction. How is that the person in Kṛṣṇa consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of water? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes for all activities, and for the success in all activity, one should consider these 5 causes. Sāṅkhya means the stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge accepted by all leading ācāryas. Even Śaṅkara accepts Vedānta-sūtra asserts. Therefore, such authority should be considered. The ultimate goal is invested in the Supersoul. As it is stated in the Bhagavad-Gītā, sarvasya chāpam kriti sanivasya, he is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Kṛṣṇa conscious stands that under his direction from getting no reaction either in this life or in the life after the death. So it's wonderful but so before we go detail into this, I'd like to see on what context Kṛṣṇa is telling this. Like if everyone is okay with it, can we just see this is chapter 18 towards the end, right? So just a recap of from chapter 1 till chapter 17. what we went through. Just not much, just we just touch it so that everyone will know the context of it, just for that. So why this started? It's a very interesting point. It started. Arjuna is not happy. That everyone know. Why he is not happy is the thing. Right? He says, "I can't fight. Why should I fight with my relatives? Even ask, do you fight with your guru?" And he's like putting so many arguments against Kṛṣṇa. And then Kṛṣṇa started telling him Bhagavad-Gītā. So the first chapter is the moral dilemma and the Kṛṣṇa teaching what is duty, and he says your mind and body, the basics, the eternal soul, and what selfless action is, everything he covers. This he does in chapter 1, 2, and 3. And I would like to just read the chapter names how Srila Prabhupada has given. The chapter name itself, if someone, some real devotee, they can just take some 10, 15 classes just for the names. So I just read that. Now, chapter 1, 2, and 3. Chapter 1 is composed preparation. Then chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. In this chapter only, Kṛṣṇa is giving the basics, like you are not the body, setting the base and trying to prepare Arjuna and of course all of us on what to come. So that is done in chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. In chapter 3, it is Karma Yoga. Arjuna put a very good question. Oh Kṛṣṇa, why you are putting me in this ghastly work? That's the question he asked. Why this work? Can I just be idle? He is even ready to go to some forest and he don't want kingdom, or he is asking the main question, why I have to? Then the next chapter 4 to 6 is very interesting. Kṛṣṇa starts with this. He says what karma, action is, and jnana. He talked about jnana, knowledge, and he talked about dhyana, meditation. So slowly work, knowledge, and meditation. This goes through chapter 4 to 6. And 4, Srila Prabhupada put this name, transcendental knowledge. Here Kṛṣṇa starts with how this particular instruction, it has to come via paramara. Then lot of things in depth we can't go in a single class. So that starts with chapter 4, transcendental knowledge. Then he moves on to real karma yoga. That is the first Arjuna asks why this costly warfare. Then chapter 5 again Kṛṣṇa explains karma yoga is action in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It's not just action. If it becomes action in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, that will become karma yoga. Then we move on to chapter 6, that is Dhyana Yoga. He in depth explains what Dhyana Yoga is, how it has to be performed. Go to forest, sit in a place, and Arjuna just rejects that, saying, Kṛṣṇa, it looks completely impossible for me. Please, that was his opinion for Dhyana Yoga. Then 7 to 9 again, Kṛṣṇa comes to the next level. That is, he talks about the absolute, and he gives more knowledge of the absolute. Then he says how to attain the supreme. Then starts with the most confidential knowledge. So we slowly move on to chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. That is given. Chapter 8, attaining the supreme. As he says, what is Brahman? The questions Arjuna put is very complicated. Yes, what is Brahman? What is self? And what are productive activities? And the whole chapter is so complicated, attaining the supreme. Then it moves to the most confidential knowledge, explaining how great is the world, how everything is in him, but how he is out, still alone, and how he, as an individual, he is differently, but all things rest upon him, and the most confidential knowledge that is mentioned, and that he spoke in chapter 9. Then chapter 10 and 11. He goes with the opulence of the absolute. Sometimes we need, for Renunciation, the governor came and just by the, paraphernalia that followed him, like one ambulance, one fire truck, 4 convoy vehicles, and that gives a feeling that a very important person is coming. And Kṛṣṇa just put forth the opulence of the absolute, what it takes to be absolute, and that gives us also like knowledge to reject the charlatans who just say I am Kṛṣṇa and dance with this. So the opulence of the absolute is defined that. Then move on to chapter 11, he reveals the universal form, which is very important because like Srila Prabhupada says, in India it's kind of a Supreme Lord manufacturing factory. Every town, every village, there is so many Supreme Personality of Godheads coming day by day. And for a devotee, equipped with the knowledge of Bhagavad-Gītā, that too spoon-fed with Srila Prabhupada, now the transcendental purpose, we can clearly reject such persons because we know what it takes to be supreme. In other words, Srila Prabhupada has given us a clear knowledge who is supreme. So that he reveals the universal form in chapter 11. Then one complete chapter, chapter 12, devotional service. Dedicated. The first chapter is dedicated for the whole thing. Kṛṣṇa established the fact that bhakti is the highest path to attain. Highest path is devotion. Then chapter 13 till 15, he explains about the nature, the enjoyer, who is the enjoyer, and what consciousness is. Then all ISKCON devotees, they are very familiar with these things, the three modes of material nature. I don't know, one who just come, attend some classes, do some service, and go after 1 year. If you ask them, they know about the three modes of material nature for sure, and certain basic things. And I was astonished how even when they came, I was not really into reading books and trying to understand things. But after a year, just turn back and see, I do know many things about what Bhagavad-Gītā is. And if someone asks me, what is this all about, I should be able to tell something. And one of the main things he explains is the three modes of material nature, which explains the working of this universe, which is so important because we are here and all the people who are around, they don't have any idea how this works. So such a great missionary, it goes so perfectly, everything goes on very smoothly, and we enjoy, we live in it, we enjoy, we talk, most of them don't even talk about it, and most of them don't even think, and they think that is unnecessary, which is beyond them. But here, if you study these three modes of material nature and how it works, it gives a totally different perspective, So that's chapter 14. Then chapter 15, the yoga of the Supreme Person. So again we move on to chapter 16 and 17. He explains the divine and demoniac natures. I think all of yesterday Sushant Prabhu's classes we still remember about the divine and demoniac nature. And chapter 17, the divisions of faith. And final conclusion, we have arrived at the conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. It's a very important thing because this chapter, again, one chapter, the full chapter is dedicated for this, the perfection of renunciation. So we'll see how this 13th verse is contexted with respect to this particular topic, the perfection of renunciation. So this starts with Arjuna's question. One more thing, when I read these questions, it occurs to me, if it's not for Srila Prabhupada, if not for Arjuna, I could have never asked these questions and later on getting the answers. So we should be very thankful to Srila Prabhupada for getting this. So Arjuna says, "O mighty of God, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, that is tyaga." That he is just saying, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation. And the reverse order of life, that is sannyasa. He's saying, O pillar of KC Demon, Master of Senses, kindly let me know these details. The purpose of renunciation, two things, the purpose of renunciation and about sannyasa. And the next text 2, Supreme Personality of Godhead say, The giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned man called the immense order of life. Arjuna put two questions. One is renunciation, tyaga, and what is sannyasa. And then Krishna starts answering the second question first, saying, giving up activities based on material desire. That is, just pay attention to, like, he's saying, giving up activities based on material desire. And what is learned man called the renounced order of life, that is sannyasa. Then what is tyaga? What could be tyaga? In your order to get that, tyaga and sannyasa is renunciation. You have to agree that tyaga and sannyasa both are renunciation. And Krishna first asks, what is tyaga and what is sannyasa? Krishna says, giving up all activities based on material desires, what learned person called sannyasa. So, what would be tyaga?
Not doing the what?
Both are same. There is no difference between sannyasa and tyaga.
Okay, so Srila Prabhupada says, the translates like this. And giving up the results of all activities is what voice is called tyaga, renunciation. The results of the activity. So, stopping activity is one thing, giving up the result is another thing. It's not the same, absolutely not the same. So, that is how this chapter starts. And Krishna again says, the prescribed duty should never be renounced. And we say, when we think about renunciation, immediately, that too, I used to be in chats about and many people approach saying, I am fed up with this life, can I live in ISKCON? I just want to do nothing. That is what their desire is. And they think renounced order is something, they do nothing, take rest, put some saffron cloth, and I don't know, that is the idea of renunciation. But about renunciation, Krishna starts with this. That is, prescribed duty should never be renounced. And he goes on explaining what renunciation actually is. Renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Now, say everyone is very familiar with the three kinds of thing. What of course, it's three modes: ignorance, passion, and goodness. So, Krishna says renunciation also comes within this bracket of the three modes. And the first type of renunciation is because if one in illusion, that is, if he out of illusion thinks, if I just renounce this, I will be happy, then that is in the mode of renunciation, the mode of ignorance. So we have to, if we see the next two, then we understand this better. And the next one says, anyone who gives up prescribed duty as troublesome and out of fear of bodily discomfort. That is, my I work in an IT industry, and over in IT industry, they very well knows this. We know what troublesome is, completing a project and doing it on time. So at times towards the end, it really takes a lot for the human resource manager just to keep people, seated, because they just want to run away. So this again, if someone consider prescribed duty as troublesome and out of fear of bodily discomfort, they renounce some activity, that is said to be in the mode of passion. First one is under the illusion. They just think out of illusion. They think if I just stop this activity, I will be happy, and if they stop it, that is in the mode of ignorance. And if they just think, this is giving me so much of trouble, better Arjuna also says, better I'll just. That is in mode of passion. Then he says, no, Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, and renounce on material association and all attachment to fruit. And if you just recall, Arjuna asked two questions: what is tyaga and what is renunciation? And Krishna answers that: what is tyaga and what is renunciation? So sannyasa, he says it's like desiring or giving up activities based on material desires. And in this, again, Lord Krishna is saying, "O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, and renounce all material association," that is the first one, that is the sannyasa is explaining, and all attachment to the fruit, that is tyaga. This renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. So if one renounce or like say, for example, you see so many young people who are in ISKCON, they have taken up renounce path, they have taken up sannyasa, and Chaitanya himself taken the path of sannyasa, and those who are following in his footsteps, if you get a chance to analyze their activity, you could really say they are just following this. It's not just wearing kami and say they are sannyasa, but in ISKCON they are following this. Like, if someone want to verify, if you get a chance to be in association with some sannyasis, you can watch their action throughout their day. You could see all the qualities that Srila Prabhupada has prescribed emanates from them. And that way we could say it's not just, bluff or it's just an action. Of course, Srila Prabhupada again has said ISKCON is like a hospital. We have many people coming in, and not everyone is suddenly come up to the level. And you could see people go, maybe they climb up ranks and they may not have that quality within them. That doesn't mean ISKCON is wrong. How we should segregate is whatever Srila Prabhupada is defining. If someone is practicing and if that practice makes them perfect, then that process is actually working. However, if someone is not following the prescribed things and say they are behaving differently, that doesn't mean ISKCON is not perfect. So that is how we could segregate. So the goodness, renunciation, the mode of goodness is the thing that we are going to look more with this subject that we have taken up today. And going forward, Kṛṣṇa is saying it is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. So it's not possible to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is not one who has truly renounced. He again, if something comes thrice, it is said, it is said. So here in this particular chapter, again and again and again, Kṛṣṇa is saying we have to renounce the fruits of action. So, and I don't know, I could do justice to this such an exalted subject, and I would be making a lot of mistakes. So I beg pardon if I make any mistakes. My intention is this, whatever I have enjoyed reading Srila Prabhupada, this particular thing, and how he emphasizes we have to renounce the fruits of our actions. That is what our intention to look forward in this rest of the class today. So let us, am I okay? Am I able to follow? It's okay. So the question you could ask, why should one renounce? We talk so many things now, renunciation, the mode of ignorance, renunciation, the mode of passion, renunciation, the mode of goodness. So why should we renounce for the first thing? Why should we renounce?
Because of the attachment.
Okay, so to cut off attachment. That is the step, but where you are reaching by cutting off attachment.
But that's
Kṛṣṇa. So the final goal is that is exactly Kṛṣṇa's sense. So for this particular question, Prabhu said, Kṛṣṇa gives the key in 18.12, the previous verse. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action. That is, for our every action, these three things happen. Just see how perfectly Kṛṣṇa has that. These three things definitely happen: the desirable, the undesirable, and mixed. So for any action, the result either we like say I work very hard, I earn money, I like it. I work very hard, and there are so many impediments, so many trouble with the work I don't like. and I work very hard. I have to go to office, like I like the atmosphere, but I don't like the work that is mixed. Like for every action, we have these three things. And Krishna is saying, for one who is not renounced, the threefold of fruits of actions, that is desirable, undesirable, and fixed, they occur after death also. Definitely they occur after death also. Nothing stops, like so far while we are living, we are doing so many things, the living energy is so, active, and we can't just say, just one single moment everything is stopped. So it's clearly saying the desirable, undesirable, and mixed result that of the actions that we do, they occur after death also. But he is saying, but those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. So why do we renounce? It's just because of this action. That is, if we renounce the fruits of our action, we don't have anything that is good or bad or mixed to enjoy after our death, and that is the way to go back to the Lord. Like if we have any desire, even a single one, like in one lecture, I think Sushandra said, even if you like to eat one gulab jamun, you have to come back. So even a single desire, whether that is good or that we don't like, or any that is the things that are forced upon us, that is where we have to come back. So that is why renunciation is important, and renunciation is what we exactly see. The renunciation should be in the mode of goodness. That is to the final word is to renounce the fruits of our action. So how far we are at that, we'll try to analyze. So then we'll now go back to our verse today. I'll just read the translation again. Krishna says, O mighty of Arjuna, according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all actions. Now learn of these from me. So now the context is to renounce the actions, right? So what Krishna is talking about, we'll just see. Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna that you have to renounce the action, fruits of your action, fruits of your action. And here he is explaining, for any action like that needs to be accomplished, there are 5 causes. And now you may wonder, like, why all these details? But I would say, like, just for an example, I ask you, like, say, can you give me 10 rupees? You will definitely give. And, like, say, I ask you, can you give me 10 lakh rupees? Immediately, like, even like if I approach a bank and ask a big amount loan, they want details, like, whether I am eligible to get it, and if I have the ability to repay it, and main thing, whether it's worth for them to give up the money. It's not just money. We are talking about giving up the fruits of our actions. So fruits of the actions are our results. Like, say, I'm working in an office for a month long, 30 days, and if they just say, I won't pay you, I won't work there, because I work there just because of the fruits of the action. And here, Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna. Here, sorry, we'll just so Hare Krishna will continue. So here Arjuna is like Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna to give up that result. So how much information he'll have to give? Just if he just say give up the result, he won't give up. He's not going to give up. So, but if I like for a man, if I just give my 3 months salary slip and everything, if I produce all the things, they will give me more. The rest is there. So here Krishna is trying to give more information how he could convince Arjuna and how he can make him give up the fruits of the action. So he's saying every action that needs to be successful, there are 5 causes. So that's how the context is said. So everything that Krishna says in this it's related to each other, and in one day we can't cover all those things, but we'll just try to touch a bit of it. And if you see, think more about actions, there are three types of actions. That is, one is vikarma, and the next one is karma, and the next one is akarma. So what, I'll say what is vikarma. Vikarma is sinful activities which are against the scriptural injunctions. So that is vikarma. Then what could be karma? Good actions as per the scriptures. It's not against the scriptures, but it's as per the scriptures. So activities done according to scriptures, we can call it karma. So what is akarma? Karma, like throughout Sanskrit, if you say it is not. So karma is not that. That is called akarma. So akarma is defined as devotional activities. Devotional activities to Kṛṣṇa. That too done as per the scriptural injunctions. That is called karma. And we can say, understand this more. The vikarma, you can give few examples, like as illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. When I just read this, it strikes me that Srila Prabhupada very, cunningly, whoever comes to ISKCON, he has removed these bad qualities. The four regulative principles is nothing but removing the vikarma. At least we don't do things that is not, against the scriptures. So that is the first thing that will go away from us. So let alone giving up our roots of our activities, this is the first thing that goes. It's like woodcutter cutting with every blow of the axe, one part of the tree, moves away. So throughout this, we could see how Srila Prabhupada is slowly shaping, giving us the necessary strength to finally cut off this thing. So first is vikarma, we saw, it's illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, that's been cut off. Then it's called karma, the examples are worshipping demigods or pious activities. So worshipping demigods and pious activities, they comes under karma. And this also we'll have to give up, in a sense. If we want to come to the karma stage, we'll have to give up even worshipping demigods or considering pious activities will give us safe. So that is about karma. And we have akarma, that we saw devotional service to Kṛṣṇa. So how devotional service to Kṛṣṇa become akarma is something, a question immediately comes. Every action will have a reaction, but how actions which are done, performed for Kṛṣṇa, how that that doesn't give any reactions. That also we'll have to think about it. And in this connection, there is one interesting verse, chapter 4, 18th verse. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among man. So you just see, analyze this thing again. Now saying one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. So just to recap, we saw three types of karma, vikarma, karma, and akarma. And actions that we do comes under these three brackets. And again, we are saying one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. So now we will see this one, try to understand this one a bit more perfectly. Meditation nowadays, any yoga will immediately think meditation. And if you see, just utter the word meditation, what comes to your mind? Or what image that comes? A person in this yoga posture, that too. Yes, yeah, posture, and silhouette of a person just meditation. In other words, it's to say the silence is the perfect way to meditate. That's something that's generally a person when they think about meditation or doing no action. The silence is the perfect way to meditate. And now we just see the verse that one who see inaction in action and action in inaction. We are trying to understand this. So in this meditational process where they say like sit in silence, what they are trying to see is inaction is being inactive. Like if I don't do anything, I am not like really, I am in action. Like say I can stop karma because like I just sit there, so I am not doing anything. So that is the idea behind that type of meditation. And this one lecture here, this type of meditation is real. Kṛṣṇa even Jnana he has explained this. And those who are in Himalayas, they sitting, cutting the whole world from. They just sit there the whole their life. They spend there in the cave, no connection to any places at all. So people and they come close to this meditation. They may succeed in this also. However, for us who are sitting in this, fast material world, that is in this Kali Yuga, the Haribari world, it's kind of impossible for us. Now again, we are talking about this because this particular verse we say inaction is action, inaction. Those who see inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among them. So, like say, there are also other people who if they don't talk, they think they become famous also. Movie movies, they just yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So just the idea behind that is like if they don't talk, that is they are keeping it silent. But if you really analyze that, they do keep a chalkboard and chant, and whatever they want, they write it. So in a way, they are actually talking via the chalkboard. It's not they remain in silence. So if you just I say this example just to understand this bit deeply. That is, if we just by action, if you think we are idle, that may not be the case. You still could be performing action. Just by sitting idle also you are performing action. For example, just by breathing we are taking so many germs. So that also will give us reaction. So the idea of just being idle and thinking I am in inaction state is wrong. So that is, now just read this verse again. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among them. So the Kṛṣṇa conscious activity that we saw, if you see devotees, they are very busy. Like they start their day very early in the morning. 4:30 is Mangalarati and they could have at least gotten up by 4 o'clock, most of them by 3:30. And from that moment, the morning class by Bhagavad class, many times it becomes 9:30, 9:30, and then they have prasadam, maybe a little bit rest on this. Again, go to book distribution and other things. If you just analyze the one day's life of a devotee, it's like full action. Then how could we say, it's inaction? Because they are acting for Kṛṣṇa, and the scriptures also it is said, if one acts in devotional service, that it does not produce any results. So that is why it is called action, inaction in action. And we could see from this example, those who are mahā-bāhos or those who try to meditate in silence, even though they are in action, they are actually acting. So now if you see, this verse make more sense like it. One who sees inaction in action and action in action is intelligent about it. So again, we'll just again go back to the context of this particular topic, that is renunciation, conclusion, the reflection of renunciation. The answers the Supreme Personality of Godhead says is the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned man or the renounced order of life. And giving up the result of activities is what wise called as renunciation. Now we just learning things. It may we may think, oh, these are all good things, but if we have to check whether we are applying or not, how much it is applicable for us. So we'll just think about it, giving up the fruits of activity, how much we can do, like reading about this, understanding about this, all are very good. Like whatever Krishna says, we feel like it really makes sense. If we have to give up the result, then you don't have karmas to burn off. We can go back to God, and everything looks very good. But practically, how much we can give up the results? Now, that's something we have to, that's when it comes to applying whatever that we are learning from Srila Prabhupada's Purport into our life. And these are all not just fancy things which are put in a book, which only makes sense to give a lecture and you forget about it. That's not the intention that Srila Prabhupada's Bhakti and the purpose are meant. Every point that Srila Prabhupada says, if you practice it, it will give the benefit that we feel. We feel so, indebted to Srila Prabhupada that it gives us so much happiness. But that can happen only if you apply that all these things into our own life. And there's one more detail which Kṛṣṇa gives about this action inaction. I'm not sure, already everyone is already too much burdened with. They don't know about it or continue with it. So this one more detail will continue and we'll stop there. So the 5 things which Kṛṣṇa says, one is the place of action. Then the performer, of course, the performer and the various senses and the endeavor, different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. We'll come back again, we'll try to understand. It's very easy to understand what are the 5 things that is making our action successful. It's not just us, it's these 5 things. One is the place of action. We have to, the first thing is the body. You can take the body is the place of action, and the performer, that is the soul, the real performer, and the super soul also is that comes and mentioned the last. Then various senses. We do action with our senses. Any activity I eat, it's an action. I do it with the sense. I see, it's an activity I do with another sense. I hear, I sleep. That also everything it's in the sense. Then the different kinds of endeavor. Of course, if I just think I'll have to eat it, it's not going to happen. I'll endeavor for it and I'll do things, and that endeavor is also there. And finally, the super soul. And most people, the materialist people, they miss the super soul part. They think, okay, if I have a good, arrangements done, then that is okay. Then I am there, I can enjoy it. Then I have, different senses. I do keep my body very youthful. There's a millionaire who is going around saying, I am going to remain forever. We are going to see how the long we can last. And these things, I keep my senses very healthy so that I can enjoy more. Then they make all plans with all endeavor. Like the recent US president is thinking about so many things which no one ever even talked about, is taking up Gaza Strip and making it a place where everyone wants to go. All these things, good things only. But ultimately, what they lack is they forget the part of super soul. Only the super soul, let's say, sanctions it happens. Otherwise, whatever you do, you can make a Titanic and float it on the sea, it sinks. Because finally, if the super souls sanction is not there, it's not going to happen. Forget about it. It's not going to happen. So why, what is the use of understanding these things? So, like say, we'll try to put it in our real life example. Okay, and let me like our Prabhu is there, Subramanian PG Prabhu. If Prabhu, I am giving him one activity, okay, Brahmotsav came, no? So I am giving Prabhu a very important thing, okay, that which he has to do, okay. And I just told him, please do it, it depends on you. And if you don't do it, going to have a very bad situation, going to be a very bad situation, and say, Prabhu, you have to do it. And Prabhu slept and he forgot. Okay. And what would be his mood? What he might think, Brahmotsavam, he is there, and I am also there, and looking at Prabhu, and he is looking at me. It is not done. What he would think? I am like from his shoes. I think my body will be boiling. I would be regretting. I would say I will definitely curse myself. I would think, can I just vanish from this place? And first of all, why I take this? No, I should never come to ISKCON again. So many things that might go, because now the same thing. Sushant Prabhu, he call 5 people, okay, and say, you do this, like you do this, and you do this. 5 people, different acts, and he distributes, and he say, you need to do this for Brahmotsav, okay. And our Subramanya Prabhu again, he slept, and his part is not there. Now he is also there, and we have all other 4 people also coming. Now what would be his feeling? He said, okay, my part is not done, but other, but still if that part is not done, he could at least be in a safer situation saying, it's not just my fault, there are other 4 people who are there. So I am not the sole proprietor of this. He's at least to say that agony he goes through with substantially reduced. So 1 divided by 5 we can say. So now coming back to the context of any action that needs to be successful, it's not just us. So if you do something and if it just it fails, you don't have to be, curse yourself and go back to dejection, to depression, go and see a psychologist. Nothing is that. You just understand this particular point. It's not just you. The foremost thing is that sanction of the super soul. Only if it is there, then it is successful. If it is not there, it is not successful. And if you read other things in Bhagavad-Gītā, Kṛṣṇa says you have to learn to tolerate, and everything is slowly it will make sense for us. And it's not just Kṛṣṇa is such a what do you say, such a intelligent, or I don't get the words, but it's like his one action. It's like a completely unintelligent person, he can also get something out of it, and a super genius, he can also get something out of it. But it is the same action Kṛṣṇa would have performed. By doing one thing, he can satisfy so many things, and in this way, if you just try to understand this particular thing, then all actions that we do, we will see it's not just me. It's not definitely just me. It's not, you don't have to imagine things. This is exactly how it happens. So every action has its 5 activities, and that is how any action can be successful. So success also we have to, give the credits to Kṛṣṇa and all others also. And if something didn't happen, we'll say, okay, Kṛṣṇa doesn't want this to happen, and we'll have that. We'll try to, go at tolerance level, and we'll, our life will be definitely peaceful. And for devotees, you could see, we used to go to Vrindavan for my Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, and on that particular Vyasa Puja day, we have a big stage prepared, and so many sannyasis, everyone comes, and they talk about good things about, and this is the normal ritual. And in one such Vyasa Puja, the guest who was supposed to come on sannyasi, he got some other engagement at the final moment, and he didn't turn up. So in Vrindavan, you have, if you just go outside, you will meet sannyasis, so many sannyasis are there. And one exalted sannyasi, he agreed to come because he also has to say about Gurudev, and he came in. And he suddenly came in, and the person who is on the mic, he don't know what his name is, and he has to introduce him. Okay, it's a very, if you see, very occurred situation. You have to welcome him, and he's a sannyasi, and he don't know his name also. And he like came up to here. I would like to welcome His Holiness. And if I am in that sannyasi's place, I would have felt definitely very bad, Like I am here and someone is trying to welcome me. He don't know me, and I would feel why I didn't go here. That is to say, I expect respect and I expect so many things to happen. But I observed the sannyasi's face, he's just aloof from it. So aloof, he made sure to call someone and tell his name so complete. And that maybe one can say it, but I just watching him live, I could see there's no trace of any bad feeling in him. Now that time I know he's renounced. He's really renounced. He's really renounced of all his material desires. And I compare me with him. I exactly see what I am lacking and what he has by practicing Krishna consciousness. And the real practice, if I do, it will take me there. That gave me so much of encouragement. It's not something on the wall, something on the air. It's just we take and discuss in one lecture and forget about it. It's not that. If you put it to practice and it comes, it's the magic. The things walks into your life, which will make you really happy. Which will take away things that you don't want, and it will give you things that you do want, and it will put it in so much of a happy situation where you think, yeah, this is okay. I mean, being a devotee of Krishna is okay because it does gives me so much of satisfaction. I tried so many things. I tried this, I tried that, like rolling stones now. I'm not happy at all, but finally I reached the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and he will take me to Krishna, and we can be happy. And let's all endeavor for this, and let's please do try invite Srila Prabhupada teachings in our lives, and we can do it because it is not unpractical or things which cannot be done. It's also practical. The only thing we have to endure for it, and Super Soul definitely will sanction it. And we all pray, please pray for me also. And so, fallen down position, have all material attachment which I can't even lift my head. So, with this prayers to you all, I'd like to conclude this session. So, Bhagavad-Gītā ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Now go Vishnu Srila Prabhupada.
Just clarification. You said Śaṅkara is when you dedicate all your karmas to Krishna, and vikarma is when you karma is when you pray demigods, and vikarma is when you go against the
Karma is against scriptures.
vikarma is against
Vikarma is
scriptures.
against scriptures. Karma is as per scriptures, but they are fruity activities, which won't relieve you the fruits of your action.
Okay.
And akarma is something which will release you.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Karma is a short form of viparita karma.
I don't know.
Somebody told me it is like that vikarma is a vipreet karma.
Separate karma.
So that how we can remember that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, what is the difference between perfection and purification?
Perfection and purification.
Difference between.
Yeah, purification is the path which takes to the destination. That is perfection. You understand, Prabhu? If you keep on purifying yourself, it will take you to perfection. So purification is like travel, perfection is like destination.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Right.
Thanks for this wonderful class, actually, truly speaking. And what I felt is, I have to read the Bhagavad-Gītā once again after hearing your class. That is how it is inspired me. When you given the summary of chapter 1 to 18, I kind of forgot all those initial chapters. But immediately I felt that I have to read again and again. So there is no questions from my side, but it was really inspiring, bro. Thank you so much, bro. All love is to the next.
ये काम नहीं कर रहा. Bhagavad Gita, totally you explained very nicely and what is the connection of all the chapters. But one question is, chapter 3 is Karma Yoga, again chapter 5 is excellence Krishna consciousness. So how can we differentiate? You answered that also, but once again you please.
Yes, Mataji. Like, it's again like, what you call it, if we are going to understand an advanced man, we start with basic man. So Krishna just giving in the beginning what karma is, actions, and he explains that nicely. Then he goes to the real subject, the inner subject, saying actions should be Krishna consciousness. That's if someone has to understand action, Krishna consciousness, first of all they have to understand action. What real action and all these details. So that's why he explains that for first, and once one is familiar with it, then he says it's not enough to do it. You have to come to this level. So it's like that, preparing one. That's the wonderful thing about Krishna. Like throughout, he is saying so many things, and when you read one translation and one word, you will say why Krishna has said that and that other time. So wonderfully said.
Why in middle fourth chapter the transcendental knowledge, Karma Yoga and excellent Krishna consciousness, in between only.
Yeah, and it's the preparation, Mataji. Like you say, like we cook, we first cut vegetables and then we make some other things, and finally we mix it. So before we mix this, we need to have these two things ready. So he's talking about karma and he's talking about transcendental knowledge, and he's mixing every karma should be transcendental.
Without knowledge, we cannot do Krishna consciousness. That's why knowledge is important.
Yeah.
That's why between transcendental knowledge, then action in Krishna consciousness. That is the end point.
Yeah, that's how the whole chapters are so much aligned that so much things Krishna is preparing us. The sincere soul, if he reads Bhagavad-Gītā as it is, Srila Prabhupada used to say, this one book is enough. Just this one book is enough. That's everything.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you, bro, for the wonderful class. Even it was a very short notice that I just informed Prabhu around the afternoon, but he prepared very nicely and presented the entire Bhagavad-Gītā in a nice way so that any layman can understand, bro. So thank you so much, bro. So we expect more classes every month frequently, bro. Next. Thank you, bro.
Thank you for your mercy.
Prabhu, just give a short notice.
Thank you so much. Great. So, there are any things wrong things I might have said, or things I might have thank you for giving. Great.